Hello, my loves. Welcome. This is your rest session. This is your time to slow down, to experience and practice rest because it's just so damn hard to do it unless we put aside time to do it. My name is Riss. I will talk about my certifications, which is that I'm certified in somatic embodiment and self-regulation strategies through Collectively Rooted. I am pursuing and practicing and sharing somatics because I believe in holistic healing and I have seen, witnessed, and experienced the power of alternative modalities of healing outside of Western practices. And a lot of resources our society offers, such as what is covered under health insurance, follows top down modalities of healing. And I feel called to the field of somatics to follow the lineage of my ancestors that practice traditional Chinese medicine. And I also want to give a quick disclaimer that the word somatics was not even a word that my ancestors had probably said because it was coined in the 1960s by a white academic. And before I even really start to go on a tangent, I want to just state the intention of somatics, which is to have you feel connected, safe, and present in your body. So we build a foundation of being able to process in real time, which is hard because in our society, it encourages us to be hypervigilant, dissociative, and not present. And so we dissociate as a protective factor, and therefore returning to our body can feel really scary and uncomfortable. And so, one offering of a framework that might be helpful to ground in is the discernment and the difference between feeling unsafe and uncomfortable. And uncomfortable is if you feel distracted, maybe you want to open up another tab on your computer or go on your phone to doom scroll on Instagram, right? It feels uncomfortable to be present. And if you do start to feel these urges, one offering or suggestion is to just focus on your breath and to exhale with sound, to return to your breath and exhale slowly as possible, or to maybe even hum as you exhale. And I want you to verbally state right now that you give yourself permission to rest and to be present. Hmm. It's so powerful to state our intentions out loud. And one reason why somatics is so powerful because it builds the foundation of trusting your body's inherent ability to be a healer and to regulate yourself and to tap into your own regenerative properties. And just before I get ahead of myself, let's quickly just take a breath together as slow as possible. And let's hold it after you inhale and release it. Beautiful. Let's inhale for 5 counts and hold for 4 and release for 5. So let's inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 4, 3, 4, and slowly release your beautiful breath. Yeah. And now, when you exhale, I encourage you to hum, and so your mouth will be closed. So let's inhale together for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just hold your breath right there and hmm. And you maybe you're humming longer, which is incredible. If you find yourself getting distracted or want to just keep the audio going, but don't want to necessarily follow along because you don't feel called to, you can just do the hummingbird breath, which is where you hum when you exhale. Yeah. Or maybe let's open your jaw and let out a yawn. Maybe stick out your tongue, clear your throat. Hmm. And what's very powerful is that this is not a lecture. I'm not going to talk about the theoretical aspects of somatics or run a didactic training. And if you want to learn more about somatics, you can connect with me one on one. I'm happy to recommend some books to do some actual somatic experiencing and practicing together. You are just here to breathe, to exist, to experience without expectations. Everything is a suggestion. The goal isn't to follow along perfectly, to breathe to the same seconds that I do. Everything I offer is a suggestion and just a guiding framework to tap into your own inner sensory world and to do what feels really good for you. And that is what I mean by existing and experiencing without expectations. You incorporate what feels good, and you get to decide if you want to experiment with a new somatic exercise that emerges in the moment for you organically. And you get to modify based on listening to your body. And the point of somatics is to increase your discernment about your inner sensory world. And to me, being a healer means bringing out the healer in you, so you get to decide what do you want to engage in and incorporate right now. And while this is an asynchronous recording, so we're not talking, sharing, processing, discussing in real time, that doesn't mean you won't be making noises. And one way to release activation in our nervous system is to make sounds. And so let's go back to some deep breaths. And when you exhale, I encourage you to make a noise and just follow and release whatever sound emerges. Yeah. So let's inhale for 5, hold for 4, and you're going to let whatever sound go. Yeah. So let's inhale together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold that breath right there. Good. Now release any noise. Welcome. Could be a guttural sound, could be a soft whimper, could be a sigh. And let's keep doing this. Let's clear out any blockages in the throat before we start to rest. So let's inhale again and hold it and hold and let's start to release now. Beautiful. Beautiful. So one more time. Let's inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold it right there. And release with noise. All the noise is welcome. Beautiful. And you might have felt weird, and that's okay and welcome. And let's actually feel more weird by let's make some faces. So when you inhale, let's slowly tense up and make a weird face. So you might be scrunching that forehead, the nose, eyebrows. Yeah. So we're going to scrunch when we inhale and then tighten that tension in your face when you hold your breath. And then slowly relax your facial muscles when you exhale. Yeah. So let's inhale together. 1, 2, scrunching that face up. Good. Now tighten your face as you hold your breath and release and slowly drop that tension in your face. Good. Let's do that two more times. Let's inhale. One, two, squeezing the face. And now scrunching it really tight as you hold your breath and then slowly releasing the facial tension. Good. Let's do that one more time at your own pace. Titrating this in, creating your experience. And if it feels like it's too much, you can always hug a pillow before deciding to return. Don't push yourself more than what your body is telling you. And if you are following along, I hope that you're feeling more aware of the different facial muscles. And somatics is playful. It's experiential. It's a return to your inner child when we can move and take up space and express ourselves without feeling the need to mask, fawn, present, or perform. And our inner child is when we didn't have to be anyone but ourselves. And that's kind of the capacity building that I want to do here, where it's just okay to be here, to sit here or lie down here during our time together. And the last thing that I want to say for this introduction is that you have an internal intuition that you know best. And everyone's bodies are different, and rediscovering our body's wisdom can feel like you're wandering through a maze and getting lost in yourself, and that's okay. There's no need to follow along everything in one go. You can always return. And my mission through Rewrite with Riss or Rest with Riss is where we rest as a reflex, naturally. Not because we experienced a crisis, we pushed past a threshold, we're sick, or we're now burnt out. Rest is not something that those with access to wealth and privilege should be able to afford. It is something that is in our birthright, something that we co-create in community. So thank you for being here, for we are building towards a future where rest is our reflex. All right, so let's get comfortable. Today, we're going to be doing everything lying down. So feel free to pause this to build your restness, to maybe light a candle. Well, actually, if there's a possibility that you might fall asleep, maybe let's not light a candle, but maybe even bring a weighted blanket over you, put on some fuzzy socks, drink some water right now. Mm, beautiful. And as you get into your cozy position, I have three check-in questions for you. And you don't have to verbalize your answers out loud unless you'd like to. You don't have to write them down. You just check in with yourself. And so my first question for you is, how present do you feel in your body right now? One being not present at all, highly dissociative, struggling to be here. And 10 is extremely present. You have time allocated, blocked off, you're ready to rest. You don't feel the pull to your phone, you're in that flow state, you're here. Hmm. Take your time to really sink into a number that feels good and reflective of your state right now. Hmm. My second question for you is, where is stress stored in your body right now? Your hamstrings, your hip flexors. You feel tension right behind your forehead. Where are you feeling stress in your body right now? Hmm. Checking into your body. And my third question for you is, where feels neutral in your body? And this can be more tricky. Neutral. For me, my hands feel neutral. probably because I'm always using them. My elbows feel pretty neutral right now. And what may feel stressed and neutral in the body can switch as well. We're just noticing our bodies right now. Just take some deep breaths here. Maybe placing one hand over your heart and one on your stomach. Mm. Mm. Beautiful. And as you lay here, I want you to tell yourself that you are open to resting and taking the rest of the time to see what emerges when you slow down. Maybe you feel hungry. Maybe you fall asleep. Who knows what will happen when you slow down and don't have a plan? And for rest to be most effective, you must have your own consent to slow down. Resting is a skill we are not encouraged to practice and exercise, and today you're going to build in some reps of that. And if you need to tap out because you find yourself hitting a wall or you feel this frenzied energy to be productive, that's okay. You can always come back and get in more reps. Just encourage you to explore and notice whenever your nervous system makes that leap out of your window of capacity, which is all just more information you're learning about yourself, right? Mm. Lovely. So, to transition us into our rest practice, I will first facilitate our body scan, and then we'll do a sensory step by step awareness activity that you can do with your eyes closed. And then we'll do some stretches in your bed and close out with some toe tapping, self holding, self swaddling. And then the same checkout question will ask how you feel as we did our check in question. All right. So for our grounding activity, I'll first quickly speak to the word grounding since the term is used a lot. Grounding is the feeling of being physically and energetically connected to the earth. Your body is both matter and energy. And even though gravity is always pulling you downward towards Earth's surface, it's common for us to have lost that strong energetic connection due to trauma or stress. Whenever this happens, your energy is pulled upwards, resulting in a loss of connection to Earth's welcoming support. And this can result in feeling disconnected with your body, dissociation, feeling not focused and disoriented, or just simply not feeling present. And so, for our grounding activity, you're going to come in contact with your inner world through a simple body scan. And a body scan is where you go sequentially through each part of your body and bring awareness to each body part. And as I guide you through each part of your body, allow yourself to follow my directions so you don't get stuck focusing just on one part of your body. And if you feel yourself getting stuck, just notice that and maybe note that that body part may need more attention later on. I invite you to gently close your eyes and just focus on your breath. And it's okay to let out your exhale and hear the sound of your breath. In fact, I welcome and encourage it. Open invitation to just feel your breath circle in and out of you. And get comfortable on your back, feeling the expanse of your back and the back of your legs touching the weight, the surface you're lying on. And notice how the surface is supporting you. Mm. Let's drop your awareness down to your feet and to your ankles. Maybe move your ankles from side to side. Or flex your toes front and back and wiggle them. Move your ankles in a circle. Hmm. Get to breathe. Imagine that the earth is friendly and welcoming you as it supports you, that it is telling you that you are home here in your body. Just breathing in and out. And feel your breath letting the energy inside of you flow to the bottom of your feet. Every time you breathe, it's sending energy to the very bottom of your feet. And notice how your feet feel. Are they tight? Are they sore? Do your toes feel tingly? Notice your ankles too. Feel what your ankle bones are like inside right now. Are they tight? Is there some pressure? Do you feel neutral? Welcome and kindly invite all sensations and pour the energy of your breath into these areas. Hmm. Now notice what your knees feel like internally. Maybe they are achy or crunchy. Yeah. And let's bring your attention to the back of your legs. What do you become aware of in the back of your legs here? Remember, there's no judgment as you bring awareness to your body. Your body is so powerful, holding you. You are so powerful. And now let's notice the front of your legs. What are you aware of in your leg? Heaviness, lightness. Yeah. Mm. Now let your attention move to your hips, noticing what it is like to bring your full attention here. What is arising? Just breathe, sending this energy to your hips, noticing slowly. Ah, let's scan your tailbone, your sacrum, your lower belly. If you bring your breath here, what happens? What do you notice inside this part of your body right now? Hmm. Bring your attention to your lower back. What do you notice here? Heat or cold, pressure or softness? Let's move up to your belly and feel into your belly. And allow your breath to show you sensation. Do you feel hungry or gurgling, fullness or emptiness? Yeah. Now feel into your ribs and diaphragm and see what it's like in there. Ah. Now let's notice your whole spine. Feel into each vertebrae starting from the very bottom and moving each knob up with your attention and care and see how it feels. Breathing gently in and out. Beautiful. Now sense the front of your chest and feel what's going on in there. Beautiful. Good. Feeling the rise and fall of your chest. Let's feel into your throat with your awareness. What did your throat feel like today? Is it scratchy or smooth? Maybe you want to clear your throat or swallow. And now, how about the back of your neck? Feel into the muscles of the back of your neck and notice what it feels like today. Hmm. Pay attention to the sensations of aliveness in your arms from your shoulders down into your elbows and all the way down into your hands and fingers. How do the tips of your fingers feel right now? What catches your attention? Yeah. Now let's bring your attention to your head. How does your head feel today? Maybe sense around the top of your skull and bring your breath there. What does that feel like? Hmm, beautiful. And bring your focus and attention to your heart. How is your heart feeling? Amazing. Maybe let out a yawn, loosen that jaw. Hmm. Hmm. Beautiful. As you lay there, I invite you to just caress your arms slowly, mm, tending to yourself, and thank yourself for completing a body scan, which helps identify sensations. And if you notice any places of tension or soreness, I invite you to stretch, hold, and acknowledge these areas later on and claim that time for yourself. Yeah. And so I'm going to move us along to our sensory awareness step by step activity. I'll be reading out loud a list of questions, and you're just going to listen for your response. Kind of sense along, like we were doing with the body scan. And you're not going to, it's not a yes or no, you're just going to feel the question. And I'm going to give about 5 seconds between each question. So you're not trying to get too deep into the sensation, you're just noticing it. Yeah. All right. Take a breath together. Beautiful. Can you feel your hair touching your head? Can you feel your belly rising and falling as you breathe? Can you feel the space between your eyes? Can you feel your breath touching the back of your eyes while you inhale? Can you picture something far away? Can you feel the bottoms of your feet? Can you imagine a beautiful day at the beach? Can you notice the space within your mouth? Can you notice the position of your tongue in your mouth? Can you feel a breeze against your cheek? Can you feel how one arm is heavier than the other? Can you feel a tingling or numbness in one hand? Can you feel how one arm is more relaxed than the other? Can you feel a change in the temperature in the air around you? Can you feel how one arm might be warmer than the other one? Can you notice any tightness in your left arm? Can you feel a heaviness in your legs? Can you feel how one leg might be heavier than the other? Can you imagine something very pleasant? Can you imagine what it would feel like to float on a cloud? Can you allow yourself to drift lazily? Can you feel your face getting soft? Can you imagine a beautiful flower? Amazing. You've just completed a sensory awareness step by step activity. Maybe as you open your eyes, you can look around your surroundings and spot the different colors of the rainbow. Something red, something orange, something yellow, something green, something blue, and something purple. Maybe just wiggle your fingertips, your toes. And we're gonna do some really relaxing stretches in bed. And the first one is to become a pencil, which is a delicious full body stretch where you stretch into being the longest possible version of you so your internal organs get a healthy stretch too. You're going to start with your arms lying down next to your sides. And let's just take some breaths together, inhaling through your mouth, slowly exhaling through your nose. Good, good. Let's just focus on breathing together here for the next few seconds. Paying attention to slow inhales and slow exhales. And listen to the sound of your breath and know how wonderful it is to hear the sounds of your breath, your life force. And as you inhale, I encourage you to identify how many seconds of inhaling feels good to you. For me, right now, 5 seconds feels good and not too strenuous, but still a stretch. let's just take a moment to explore how many seconds feel good to you. And remember to experiment. Even if 5 feels good, maybe you'll try 4 or 6. And to remember to experiment with slow inhaling, because slow inhaling lowers your heart rate and brings you to a state of relaxation. Ah, beautiful. Yeah, just like that. And now let's become a pencil. So I'm just gonna walk you through what we'll be doing and then give some modifications, and then I'll allow you to experiment on your own. And if you have any questions, you can always just experiment and do what feels good. And know that me giving these instructions, it might take more time than the actual movement itself. And so you're going to slowly inhale, and as you inhale, you're going to raise your arms from your sides up and over to alongside your head. And you will complete this motion based on how many seconds of inhaling feels good to you. So for me, I'll count to 5, and when I get to 5, I'll have my arms right next to my head. And when you move your arms, you're going to keep your elbows tucked in alongside your ears. And once you've completed this inhale with your arms, you're going to then hold your breath and stretch by reaching even further to make your body long. And you can do this by imagining your ankles being gently pulled to stretch out your middle torso and your legs. And in your mind's eye, you can see your whole body stretching out in one long line from head to toe. And you're going to stretch yourself out as long as you can, and then stretch a little bit more. And when you release your breath, you're going to remain lying on your back with your arms laying next to your head. And the purpose of the stretch is to provide relief to your shoulders and lower spine, but it can put pressure on your lower back. So if that's the case, you can pop a pillow or a blanket under your back for extra support. And if that is still uncomfortable, you can put a pillow or raise your knees and just only focus on stretching your arms above your head. And so this is how we become a pencil. And at first, I encourage you to have some pauses in between. Don't try to become a pencil right after you exhale right again. Just lay there, breathe, just look around your surroundings, maybe tell yourself an affirmation or express gratitude for some aspect of your life or towards yourself, and then become a pencil again. So we can try to do this 7 times with like quick breaks in between, yeah? So let's inhale with, well, first, let's keep our arms by our sides. And then let's inhale and slowly move your arms up, straight up, and to rest right next to the top of your head. And you're going to stretch up and lift up your arms, lifting up as in above your head in the horizontal direction. Feeling that stretch maybe even in your armpit. And then just relax them in any way that feels good to you as you exhale. Yeah. Take some breaths here, cycle through some of them. Good. Now let's have our arms return to our sides. And you know the drill. You're going to inhale and slowly move your arms up until they come down next to your ear. Then you're going to stretch and stretch a little bit more as you can and hold it there. And then exhale and release. Good. Beautiful. You got it. And now I encourage you to do this 5 more times at your own pace. No rush, just taking your time. Mm. Ah, good. Feeling the stretch in a way that feels good to you. Moving at your own pace. Yeah. Hmm. Your internal organs are thanking you, enjoying this. Good. Hmm. Feel free to also try to stretch your lower body and feel that too. And feel free to pause this video and continue at your own pace as you like. As we're going to move on to toe tapping and move the lower part of our body. And toe tapping is a practice to strengthen grounding and originated in traditional Chinese medicine and Qigong. And you're already in a great position by lying on a flat surface facing up. You're just going to allow your hips and legs to rest easily, your hips loose and your feet a few inches apart. So you may be wetting them right now. What you're going to do is you're going to rotate your feet inwards and tap the sides of your big toes together before letting your legs and feet roll back out. And your toes are just meet below the nail at the widest part of your big toe. And be sure to rotate your feet and legs in and out from your hips so you're not just rotating your ankles. And this helps loosen the hips, which supports grounding. And so you're rotating your legs and your feet. And when you find a rhythm, it can help to pick up the pace as you continue to tap your big toes together. And this momentum will make it easier to sustain. And if you wish, you can close your eyes and relax as you continue tapping. Maybe you want to fidget with something or have your hands crossed over your heart. Maybe one is on your heart, maybe one is on your lower belly. And maybe later on, you might want to do toe tapping and listen to some rhythmic music while tapping to the beat. It's easier for me to do this while I'm listening to music. Or you can also do breath work to this. So you can tap and breathe. You can find a mindfulness practice, or you can, if you're reading in bed, you can do some toe tapping. And I encourage tapping for a minimum of 5 minutes. 10 minutes is excellent, yet 5 is beneficial and far better than not at all. And so I encourage you to tap for the next few minutes, and I encourage you to pause this video to do so. But if you're like, no, I don't want to reach for my phone or computer, I just want to lie here, love that. And I will just breathe alongside you and tap alongside you for the next minute. So that way we're just building in this muscle memory into our bodies. And you might notice that perhaps going slow might be harder to maintain. Maybe going too fast feels really exhausting. So just experimenting with different speeds and velocities that feels good to you. And don't forget to breathe. You can even exhale with sound. You can even hum as you exhale. Mm. Beautiful. And toe tapping is meant to be an ongoing daily practice. So, this is something I like to do when I wake up in the morning as an energetic reset. You can tap once, twice, or several times throughout a day, and the results may seem subtle, but don't let that fool you. This practice is more powerful than you might realize. The effects are cumulative, taking up a year to maybe even experience the full benefits. And when change is gradual, we often fail to realize the impact of the practice. Yet, if we think back to maybe a year ago or many years ago in relation to mental health and grounding, being present, and the fight or flight or dissociative response, you will see progress. And know that the gradual results of this practice was one of the things that I attribute to making me feel more hopeful and present when I was at the lowest point in my own recovery. And so when you stop tapping, you can scan your body and notice if you feel any subtle or significant shift in your energy levels. Maybe you feel more tired because you're like, oh, this is what I needed, and I can rest now and curl up. Maybe you feel more energized and you're like, huh, wow, didn't think I would get more energy from this. Or maybe you're winding down for the day and you notice you feel more relaxed and you feel a subtle tingly feeling somewhere in your body. All of this is such juicy information. And now we're going to transition to some self holding and self swaddling. So if you're lying down, try to bring your knees to your chest and hug them. And if it's easier, you can lay on your side and curl up in a fetal position and just hug your knees. And I want you to hug yourself really tightly for a moment and squeeze yourself when you inhale, and then to just release as you exhale. Yeah. Mm. And to maybe just squeeze different parts of your body, maybe squeeze your arms, gently patting maybe your knees or your legs, or even rubbing different parts of your body. This is kind of a free for all where you're just gently applying loving self touch and pressure to different points of your body. Yeah, beautiful. I encourage you to find any sort of internal rhythmic motion, whether if you can rock side to side or maybe have one hand propped up to help you move side to side too. Maybe it's just even toe tapping, just any sort of rhythmic motion. Let out a yawn. And another yawn. And cup both hands on your face. Really feel your fingertips touching your face. And now you're going to give yourself a hug tightly and say your name out loud and just say, I deserve rest. And say, I can be gentle with myself. Ah, yeah. All right. And now I'm just going to ask you the same three check-in questions I asked you for a checkout. And so right now, love to know how present you feel in your body, with one being not present and 10 being extremely present. Take a moment to just feel to that. Beautiful. Mm. Where do you feel stress in your body right now? Mhm. Maybe you're doing a body scan or recalling where you felt more stress during any part of the activity today. Mhm. Good. And now let's check in where feels neutral in your body. Yeah, and you don't always have to enhance there. Beautiful. Thank you for checking in or out with your body. Thank you so much for putting aside time for yourself to regulate your nervous system. I hope you feel deeply proud of yourself for resting and know that is very revolutionary and important in our fast paced society that can make it seem like there is no time for rest. So, thank you for giving yourself the gift of restorative rest. And I invite you to just follow whatever feels good to your body right now. That's just curling up and falling asleep. That's eating or making yourself a cup of tea. And let me know how you are feeling. All right. Take care. And I wish you a restful rest of your day.